Well, a couple of things. First of all, whose balls is he hiding in his cheeks?
Yeah.
That's the first question I want to know. And I don't love the way he says, Pierce.
Yeah.
Bullshit is that? No, you don't, sir. We don't lie about military service we didn't actually perform, like going to war. We don't steal valor by saying that we had a higher rank in the and my husband said he looks like Elmer Fudd. That's what he looks like, Elmer Fudd.
Picture this for a moment. Tim Walz suddenly finds himself caught between two heavy hitters. On one side is Megyn Kelly, sharp, calm, and known for tearing people apart with precision. On the other is Tyrus, whose microphone feels less like a prop and more like a blunt force weapon. Watching the two of them go after him at the same time feels like seeing two professional roasters team up on a guy who honestly thought he was walking into a friendly bake sale instead of a live fire ambush. You'll laugh, you'll wince, and by the end you might genuinely wonder if Walz should consider witness protection, because the hits come fast, loud, and without mercy. It stops feeling like politics pretty quickly. What you're really watching is comedy dressed in sharp suits, and it lands harder than most late-night jokes ever do.
This is deeply part of it. That's one of the, I think it goes, and you can look at the reasons why we've had this sort of dialectic over the Me Too movement.
He's fighting.
And well, this
I think I see most of their.
What he's mad about is his own fault. He's mad about the image that was portrayed of him as the hunter and who did that? You did that. We just laughed about it because the one thing you can't do is you can't front. You can't floss. Those are two key words when it comes to manhood. Can't.
This is one of those moments you definitely don't want to miss, so buckle up because things heat up fast. Before the conversation even settles, Tyrus doesn't stroll in calmly. He charges in, like a former wrestler who just spotted a fully stocked buffet and knows exactly where he's heading. And his target isn't some intern, it's Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. Walz probably woke up expecting a normal day, cut a ribbon, shake a few hands, maybe crack a dad joke. Instead, he walks straight into a verbal crossfire with Tyrus and Megyn Kelly, two people who use opinions the way top chefs use razor-sharp knives. They slice straight through the moment and turn it into a full-on roast.
Tim Walz, who, just when you think no one's sitting at this table, neither she nor the big white blanket, can embarrass themselves any further, he does. She asks him, to her credit, about the carrying the weapons in war, which we know is a lie. He never served in war. He's been stealing valor for quite some time. And take a listen to this.
Said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing.
You could almost hear Tim Walz's carefully managed public image cracking in real time. He tries hard to balance being a serious governor with the friendly charm of a small-town coach, the kind of guy who cheers from the sidelines while fumbling his clipboard. He's often painted as the everyday guy who somehow wandered into the governor's office by accident. He gives off the vibe of someone who just wanted to help out and suddenly found himself running an entire state without ever planning on it.
A teacher snatches the bully's ass up.
Yeah.
Come sit with me. That's why I know someone's bullying. Oh, you can sit with me for a while. And then I would lean on him. I'd bully him back. He's not a teacher. He's not a politician. He's a creepy guy who can't.
But Tyrus wasn't buying that image for a second. To him, Walz felt more like a substitute gym teacher who accidentally ended up in the wrong meeting and somehow started approving state budgets. Megyn Kelly wasn't just there for jokes either. She came in like someone who'd been waiting all week for a weak alibi to collapse in court. She cut straight through Walz's contradictions with total confidence, acting as the scalpel, while Tyrus was the sledgehammer.
My grammar's not always correct, but again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog.
This took chutzpah. Let's go through it. You said you carried weapons in war, but you've never deployed in a war zone. Campaign official of yours said you misspoke. Did you? Well, I'm proud, incredibly proud of my record. He keeps doing this. Equally proud of my service in the class. Did I mention I was a teacher and a coach, an assistant coach? Okay, whatever. But he's more soul and valor. In the classroom, I'm in the classroom. My record speaks for itself. It doesn't, actually. You've put a lot of lies into that record that you've been called out.
And poor Tim Walz wound up looking like someone bragging about acing a test, only to later discover it was graded on a curve and he barely passed. But here's the thing. Tyrus and Megyn weren't roasting him for no reason. They treated him like a lukewarm casserole everyone keeps pretending is great, even though it clearly isn't. So who is he really? Tim Walz, the Minnesota governor, former coach and teacher. On paper, it sounds relatable, like the intro to a sitcom where the coach accidentally becomes a politician. For years, he leaned into that everyman role. Corny lines, flannel shirts, small-town charm. The trouble starts when that image runs into reality, especially during COVID. Suddenly, the cracks show, and they're hard to ignore.
In that White House, or was everyone on the same bad cocaine? But Kamala can't speak, he can't speak, Biden was so high he couldn't remember anything. Like, this is literally the dumbest administration of all time. Why is he talking?
It really is the ultimate clown show. And I said this in the pod. He's a clown without a circus.
He doesn't even need makeup.
He's roaming the terrain. Is there some car?
Then everything exploded when the George Floyd protests put Minnesota in the global spotlight. This should have been Walz's defining leadership moment. Instead, people saw hesitation one minute and overreaction the next. It was like watching someone slam the gas at a red light, then hit the brakes the second it turns green. The result? Political whiplash. And when it came to education, Walz loved reminding people he was once a teacher and coach. But the irony was painful because when real leadership was needed, his decisions left many wondering whether he'd even read his own playbook.
As your campaign had tried to do, and now you appear to be distancing yourself from that clarification. And then here's two pieces of this that are really... I speak like they do. People are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. And I speak especially passionately about, and then he goes on to blame it on school shootings. I guess he was upset about school shootings, so he lied. But stop saying you speak like we do. I speak like...
Megyn Kelly wasted no time tearing open the cracks in Walz's regular guy image. She called out how he claims to stand with everyday people while making decisions that end up hurting them the most. It's like a lifeguard bragging about saving swimmers while throwing them a concrete block instead of a float. That's why the tag team roast hit so hard. They weren't only mocking his policies, they were dismantling the whole performance around him. The slogans, the flannel, the carefully posed smiles. Supporters call him compassionate and forward-thinking, but that shine fades fast once reality kicks in.
I feel bad for Elon. I would be furious if I was him. If this is who you sent to troll me?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing wrong to get the guy from D Team to come out at Family Theater and call me names?
Yeah.
Like, Tim, I would, if they were like, oh, Tyrus, man, tough news cycle. Tim Walz is talking about you. I'd be like...
And here's the twist. Tim Walz isn't just a local politician anymore. His name keeps popping up on the national stage, even as a potential vice presidential pick. Which means this roast didn't feel like comedy. It felt like a warning shot aimed at his ambitions. If he's already struggling under pressure from two commentators, how would he survive a national campaign?
You in the audience. I watched him last night, and I thought he was amazing. He is a spectacular speaker. He had that rally in the palm of his hand. He's way more effective than she is or Joe Biden is. For the first time that I can remember, had like a feeling of fear rise up in my throat, because I know what he's permitting in Minnesota when it comes to children, which, we talk about one of the defining issues of our time is the way we treat our animals, our livestock, the way we kill them.
To Tyrus, Walz calling himself coach of the people is almost funny because he doesn't think Walz could run a dodgeball team, let alone a state. In his version, the players run in circles, the ball sits untouched, and there's plenty of noise but zero strategy. Megyn Kelly went deeper, peeling back where Walz talks tough but acts inconsistently, where he promises compassion but creates confusion. The aftermath of George Floyd showed it clearly. Minnesota needed steady leadership. Instead, people got hesitation, overreaction, and chaos.
I want to fight him so bad. Why won't he just answer my tweets, my DMs, like just one arm? And I just want to slap the He's so weak. He brings nothing. If you're going to go after someone, man to man, hit him with...
In key moments, Walz tried so hard to please everyone that he satisfied no one. He'd comfort one side, then panic about upsetting the other. Megyn summed it up perfectly. Leadership built on pleasing everyone eventually pleases no one. Under Walz, businesses didn't know whether they'd stay open or be shut down overnight. Schools were just as chaotic. And the irony? The former teacher promising stability watched performance drop and tensions skyrocket.
There was Oliver Wendell Holmes, and actually you can. I don't believe you're a lawyer, Governor Walz. You can yell fire in a crowded theater, and you can say hateful things because this is the United States of America, and it's right there in Amendment number 1. It's one of our favorites, was one of the founders' favorites, and was one of the founding principles upon which this country was built. There's no exception for speech. Tim Walz or Kamala Harris magically deemed hateful. But they've been pushing this, both of them, and a lot of Democrats have, for quite some time. These young Democrats on college campuses say that they believe that the Constitution doesn't protect it.
Walz's record doesn't impress, especially for someone who built his whole brand around being the education guy. Megyn pointed out the irony. The one area he brags about is the one collapsing under him. Tyrus compared him to a movie trailer, promising big action, but delivering a slow, confusing drama instead. And Megyn's warning was simple. If he struggles to manage Minnesota, how could he manage a national crisis? Promoting him would be like putting the person who ruined the company picnic in charge of the entire business.
Anything. And here's the cold part. If Elon called him up and said, hey, Tim, you want a job? He would take it because that's what spineless. He would, and when he was questioned, he was like, I was just holding him in account. You know, I respect him, and I'm so happy to be working for X. He is the worst player on their team, and they don't mind sending him out because
They're trying to get him off the table.
Yeah.
They're putting him out early, so he...
This isn't just about Tim Walz. It's about what he represents. A polished political product built more on image than results. He's perfect for ads and speeches, just not as convincing when it comes to real governing. And when someone's leadership depends more on branding than substance, eventually it shows.
Tim Walz, okay, Jen Psaki, she's a talking head, whatever, but Tim Walz was recently the vice presidential candidate on the Democratic ticket. Maybe you'd expect a little better, a little higher in terms of the rhetoric. You would be disappointed. Here is SOT 20.
In the morning and you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know. There will.
Look at him. So chipper. Don't worry, there will be news. In other words, Trump will die.
You almost start to feel bad for him, until you remember he's the governor and real people live with the results of his choices. That's why the humor cuts so sharply. The stakes are high. Whether he can recover from this or not is an open question, but the damage to his carefully built image is clear.
Look, he has a sports coat and a zip-up sweater underneath. No man wears that.
I may have done that in the past.
Yes.
I won't now, Tyrus.
No, and one day somebody's going to explain what a corporate income tax is to these people. It's not paid by this. It's not paid by the corporation. It's not like a building that goes, I've got to pay taxes.
At some point, it became easy for critics to point out the confusion, contradictions, and speeches that didn't match reality. And as Walz's name began circulating nationally, he accidentally became an example of what happens when branding matters more than substance. Up close, the coach-turned-leader story fell apart fast. The campaign image looked great, but the reality behind it didn't.